It's snack time. I'm your host, Marno, and joining us today is my friend Melissa, who is sharing her snack, bread and butter. Oh, such a classic. Hi, Melissa. How are you?
I'm good. Glad to be back. Hopefully, people have missed me.
The snackers have been waiting for this moment. Um, yes, thank you so much for coming back. Love to have you here at Snack Time. I always love the snacks that you bring, and this one is such a good one because I don't think that many other people would have this at the top of their mind when they think of like one of their favorite snacks, and I think that's something that joins you and I as friends, something we can bond over. So I'm very excited for this episode. But before we get into bread and butter and different styles of bread and butter, as we will get into, I prefer it slightly different than how you prefer it.
Mhm.
We've got to know the snackers, especially the ones who haven't heard your previous episodes of Snack Time. Are you a salty or sweet snacker?
I'm a salty gal. I feel
Mm,
like it's just because it's the thing I could eat the most of.
yep,
It's sweets I
same.
have to tap out at a certain point.
I totally agree. Oh, and I mean, when it comes to snacks on the salty end,
Mm.
there are few things as pure, I think, as bread. And I guess if you're using salted butter, if you're
Yeah,
using unsalted butter on bread, isn't that like just
it's just plain.
plain?
But
Yeah.
I will do if I have unsalt. Well, actually, I just kind of always do this, but always put a little sprinkle of salt on the top, like some flaky salt.
Oh,
So it ends up being salty no matter what when I'm doing
wait,
it.
this is some artisanal bread and but
Oh, of
this
course.
episode is gonna get even wilder than I thought.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. Okay, well, so that brings me to like my first question about bread and butter. What is your favorite bread?
Mm.
And what is your favorite butter? And then I guess what is your favorite salt?
Oh, yes. Okay. So, bread, like if I'm creating the ideal bread and butter snack situation,
Yes.
the bread has to be like fresh baked. We don't
Mm.
have to like bake it ourselves because that was time of quarantine, but that's not necessary.
Wait, did you do what kinds of breads have you baked? We're
I
like
didn't really,
approaching a year.
yeah.
Actually, by the time your episode comes out, wait, when is your episode coming out? Let me just look. Behind the scenes of
Is it
Snack
going to be
Time.
literally like,
Yours is coming out, oh, just like a week or so later on the 23rd.
oh, dang. That was when we were all having just a
Well,
jolly old time.
I mean, that's
Like,
probably
this
when the
is
baking
fun.
really started.
Yeah, it's true. And then the flour was gone. My mom had
Yes.
to live at home. My mom had to buy bags of flour. She actually bought it in bulk from a local restaurant,
My mom did that too.
hotel sized.
Yes.
Wait, did you buy it from? Oh, what's that place? The Dylan.
Yes. No,
That's
wait.
where we bought
We
ours.
might have got it from, I think we did. I think we bought something from there and something from JFat, the Jimmy's
Oh
Famous
yeah,
American Talent. I think we did both. So I'm not quite sure if we got the flour from one of those, but it was like
ours
the
was like.
same
I
thing.
mean, it was like 50. Like we distributed it to the neighborhood. It was so big.
Oh,
It
okay. It
was like
wasn't
an
that
insane
big.
amount of flour.
It wasn't that big. So maybe we
Yeah.
got ours from JFat.
Mhm.
Oh my god, that's so
Um,
funny.
but I didn't really bake a ton of bread. My sister got more into like trying to bake bread. I have been saying that I wanted to make focaccia since like
Mm.
last summer and I just haven't done it yet. But the breadiest thing I made was I made biscuits, and that's my favorite like bread like thing to make because it's not that hard. They're
Uh-huh.
super like fluffy. It's kind of hard to mess up. They're just so good. I did
Wait,
sour
okay.
cream and onion ones.
Oh, okay. I
So
just came
good.
up with an idea. Which
Mm.
also, if we end up not wanting to do this, I can edit this out of the pod. But how fun would it be if we both like made something and swapped?
Yes, a snack swap. Wait,
Yes,
that's a really good idea. I like that.
because snackers, if you're not aware, we live like a 2-minute drive from one another,
We could literally
essentially.
walk and meet in the middle and just swap and then
Yes.
walk back.
Oh my gosh, that would be so funny. Swap at Country Hills Park. Actually,
Yeah.
I think that's way closer to me though than to you. Cuz I'm literally just like across the street from it. So,
I just have to cross a bigger street. I think it's probably kind of a similar distance. I just have to cross a larger road, but
Yeah.
it's fine. I don't
Oh my
mind.
gosh. Anyway,
So coming at you,
I just
snack
thought that
stuff.
would be such a fun idea because I was like, wait, I really want to eat what you're talking about, and I was like, wait, I can like drive over and get it, and then
Yeah.
we'll figure out what I'll make.
Hmm.
Okay. Anyway, back to bread and butter.
So
So
perfect bread and butter situation.
yes,
Um, so yeah, fresh baked. I
is
have
it like French or like what kind?
So the one that I've liked the most as of late, just because it's like highly accessible, is at Whole Foods. They have like they call it their Sperlonga loaf. I looked it up.
Huh.
That's not actually a thing. That's like just a town in Italy. So my guess is they tried to make an Italian loaf like sound fancier. So they just
Mm,
picked a bread or like picked a town and named their bread after it. Or
that's
something like that.
so Whole Foods.
I know, but it is quite good. And you can
Yum.
get it like all sliced up and they're like kind of like smaller pieces, not like your like giant loaf slice,
Mm-hmm.
but um yeah, I would pick that or like a sourdough, like a good quality sourdough,
Mm-hmm.
down with it.
Yum.
Um, we did try Whole Foods French bread, which the reason I'm not eating this snack currently is because I had upwards of 6 slices of this bread in the last like 48 hours and
Oh my
like big
god.
slices. But that was pretty good. I felt like it was a little dense for me, specifically the
Mm.
Whole Foods French loaf. It was just like, you gotta have some like holes in it where the butter,
Yeah.
be in there.
Totally.
So yeah, that's the bread I would pick. Probably. Just some
Yum.
nice Italian or sourdough loaf situation.
Nice. And
And then
then what's the butter?
butter, I'm I'm not as long as it's not like well, okay, don't get me wrong, I will use this, but like the spreadable tub, I'll use
Oh.
butter.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about just like softened butter that's been out for a little bit
Mm-hmm.
that's like particularly nice. I do like the Kerry Gold, like the Irish butter. Those are
Yes.
pretty nice.
The
We
best.
don't often have that. I mean, what we most have around is like a softened stick of like Lando Lakes, which I don't think is like
Right.
super inferior, but it's just not like if I was picking the perfect one, I would do something
Mm-hmm.
here. But
Okay, and
yeah,
then you said that you add salt. So like are you doing like a kosher, a Himalayan, a sea salt?
I'm doing a flaky salt. So the brand I
Ooh.
have is like the Malden. I know there's other brands of
Yes.
flaky salt, but like Malden specifically is the one we have around, and it's very nice. It's extra salty. I was looking at the nutrition facts on the side one time, and it's like dense in sodium by comparison to
Really?
salt. Yeah, which I mean, I'm a salty gal, so I don't mind. But
Yeah. Okay, this is
I
gonna
love a finishing
change.
salt.
Yeah, what? I this moment's gonna change me. I'm gonna start salting my freaking. Well, okay, so here's the thing though. So I prefer to have bread and butter as like a toast. So a toasted bread and
Yes.
butter, which by the way, snackers, Melissa already knew because before we started recording, I ate an entire piece of toast already, but I do have a second piece.
Ooh.
And it is almost my ideal toasted bread with butter. And that is a piece of sourdough.
Mm.
And it has to be sour. Like, I've
Yeah.
had loaves before where I'm like, this is hardly a sourdough. Like,
Like
the
just call it
texture,
white bread if it's white bread.
yeah, it's just like a heartier white bread, you know? So, anyway, this is actually salty. I think this is from Trader Joe's. They're sliced sourdough. And then ideally I would have Kerry Gold butter, which I do have at my parents' house, but I'm at my sister's right now, so I had to settle for just regular Trader Joe's brand salted butter, which is fine. And I don't add salt, but
Mm.
after this, I'm like, I might have to. But I figured since I do actually have the snack today, because I haven't been having the snack like in quite a few episodes now. Sometimes I just record and it's not a time for a snack.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I'm like, I
Not
can't
always
eat something
appropriate.
right now. Yeah. Or like, I didn't plan far enough ahead and I don't have it. And I can't justify just like going to go get one thing from the store.
Yeah.
So I do actually have it and I figured I would do a bite of it. Now it is like 50 minutes old now, so it's probably not as crunchy as it once was because I did put butter on it. But
Put it to the
Here,
test. See
we'll
if
put
it's
it to
still
the
crunchy.
test. Mm, it's soft.
I mean, honestly, I heard the crunch.
I
I
mean, the
still find that the
outside,
crunch is there.
the crust is crunchy. The crust had a good crunch, but
Yeah.
that's because the crust didn't get butter on it.
I do feel like crust, like talking about the crust, that
Mm-hmm.
does kind of make or break it. I feel like that a lot of times adds like a little bit of flavor to what otherwise is a
Mm-hmm.
very plain piece of bread if you got like a good crust situation happening.
Agree. And I hate to do this so soon, but we need to take a quick break because my sister's dog needs to go outside.
Oh,
He's like waiting at the door. And we are back. And Melissa, I'd love to hear, what do you love about bread about bread and butter? Is that a like almost tongue twister?
I love
About
it.
bread and butter, about bread and butter. But anyway, yeah. What do you love about it? Like, why do you consider it a snack? I think a lot of people might, when they first think bread and butter, or especially toasted bread and butter, they think breakfast, more morning time thing, or maybe as an appetizer, but
Mhm.
not necessarily a snack that I think the average person puts together at home. But yeah, what is it for you that you love?
I feel like it started when I was in college because I would be working like late into the evening and like you don't want something that's like highly flavorful right before bed. Maybe you do, but I did not. Like you just
Mm-hmm.
need like low carb, low snack to like kind of push you to finishing whatever you're working on, and then from there it just became like an obsession. Like if I was still hungry after dinner, it's a piece of bread and butter. But I do feel like, I mean, the appetizer thing, that's kind of like what launches it a little bit into the snack category because it really is the snack that they put down on your
Mm-hmm.
table before you eat like a fancy meal, or not even fancy. They have it at like Outback Steakhouse and
Yeah.
Cheesecake Factory.
Oh my
Like,
God, those breads. Oh.
so
So
good.
for snackers that don't know, let's have a mini discussion about the breads at these food establishments because
Specifically the brown breads. There's not really a
yes,
name for them other than the brown breads, right? Is there a different name?
I think there is a name. I think Outback might put down like the type of brown bread it is, but all you gotta know, snackers, is that when bread is dark brown, it is delicious. Especially if you have it with a whipped butter, specifically.
Yes.
Like when that butter comes ready for spreading,
Mm-hmm.
you know it's gonna be a good time. It's when, which I think at Cheesecake Factory, does it come whipped? I think it comes in the little foil packets.
Yeah, it does. And I always, always, always have to like literally sit
Yep.
there sit between my hands, like waiting to warm it up
I was just
so that it
gonna
can go on my
say,
bread.
okay, because especially Cheesecake Factory, like we have eaten there together because that's one of the places our friend group used to frequent, especially in like, was it high school was probably like the peak of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I went away for college and stuff.
It was like for the bread and a slice of cheesecake. And that was the meal.
Yeah, like maybe like fried mac and cheese, like
Yeah. Oh, those fried mac and cheese balls.
what about those what are those like avocado spring rolls that they have or
Yes.
whatever?
Or they the
Dang.
egg rolls. I
Yes,
think it's avocado
yes.
egg rolls, and then they have
Mhm.
the dumplings, I want to say. I
Yeah.
feel like we
Oh,
got a spread
dang.
of this. Slices
I
of
mean, honestly, we
personal
probably got
slices.
like about an appetizer per person.
Yeah.
So we spent
Yeah,
we paid our dues at the Cheesecake Factory.
absolutely.
But Outback, they've got that whipped butter. So you don't have to worry about like warming it up between your hands, your elbows, your butt cheeks. Like you can just
Goes right on.
oh, it's
Oh,
so good.
sometimes it's like melty when you get it. It's just
Uh-huh. And if the bread is warm, oof, game
no better thing.
over.
Hmm.
No butter thing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I mean, even like well into adulthood, I am not restrained in eating the bread like before, like people are like, oh, I can only have one piece, or like people like, can't have any before the meal. It's like, no, I will prioritize eating the bread, and if I
Yeah.
need to go box for my dinner, that's what's gonna happen.
100%. Honestly, it's better because then you have like a meal the next day when you're to go.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually just came across something on TikTok called intuitive eating, which I'd never heard of before, but it's
Michelle, I
basically
have
just
gone down this rabbit hole.
okay, so
You
I
know
don't
I
really need to
have.
tell you. Of course you have. But just for the snackers, basically, from what I can understand, is you kind of just listen to your body, and if you're hungry, you eat and you try to make good choices so you are nourishing your body. But if you really are craving something, to just like have it, because if you don't have it and put it off, it's going to be like denying yourself of it, and then you're just going to feel like you're punishing yourself when you
Mhm.
should just be making yourself feel good. And your body, like, as long as you're like, actively making healthy choices and like treating your body the way it should be, like moving and everything, your body will take care of itself and get you the nutrients that you need if you just listen.
Yeah.
Is that what
All
you've
about like not
discovered?
denying the like food, so that you like don't, you don't want to like trigger like the scarcity
Mm-hmm.
mentality where it's like, now I have to eat all of this, which, yeah, I get it. I mean, I feel like I've been like a lifelong intuitive eater. I'm like very
Yeah,
bad at, like
same.
diet type stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not as good for me. I feel like I probably could diet, but I just I don't know. It like it's too like, I don't know, messes with my brains. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I
But yeah.
think for people that really enjoy eating, and
Mm-hmm.
like, I think for the most part, like, I think everyone that I've talked to, like, someone can connect to something about a taste that they love, or like that, like, brings them comfort. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, if you love food in that way, why would you deny yourself, you know, that feeling? And
Yeah.
like everything it's connected to. Because, like, especially doing this podcast, you can think of like any snack and someone has like a really fun, cool, thoughtful, heartwarming memory like involving it. It's so crazy.
Yeah, oh, it's so true. My actually, my sister and I were just talking about this because we were talking about like potentially taking a post-pandemic trip, and we were talking
Yeah.
about places we had been before, and we were like, oh, well, what about this place? The food was like XYZ, or
Oh,
like just
yes.
like specifically talking about the food. And our mom was like, why are you only remembering the food and not the other things you saw? But it's like it's that additional sense that like helps you remember things better, because
Yeah.
it's like you're adding taste into all of the other sensory things.
Totally. I didn't even think about it in that way, but yeah, taste memory.
Yeah,
Like,
probably
my
gonna be it for
scent memory is super strong. Like,
the
there's like a certain type of cleaner that's used in a lot of schools, and especially like settings with children. It must be like somehow like safer for kids.
mm,
But one of the first times I smelled it, I have to assume was at this preschool that I was in when I was really little, because I don't have very many memories of that age. But that smell, I know they used the
mm.
cleaner that had that specific smell. It's
Oh,
so
that's
weird.
interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely the same way with like I'll like walk outside and be like, smells like Hawaii, and it's like a combination of like
Yes.
scents that like for some reason make it smell like when you're in Hawaii. It's
Or like
ridiculous.
when it rains, but it's hot, like kind of hot, and there's rain on the asphalt.
Yes.
It's elementary school PE, or like
Yes.
lunchtime when you're like, you really wanted to do something outside that day at lunchtime and it's been raining all morning, and you're like, dang it, like, we're not going to be able to play house today. And then the sun comes out at like 11:45 and you're 10 years old and you just run out with glee. Like, that smell is the smell I smell, or
Mm,
that moment is the moment I remember when I smell rain on hot asphalt.
mm. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Very specific, but it makes sense. I get it.
Yeah, it's great. And like, I mean, friends and family that are close to me know, like, I sometimes have a very questionable memory, like, capability. Like, I think a lot of things even like not even necessarily like good or bad, but like if someone reminds me, I'm like, oh my god, yeah, and like everything comes rushing back. But I don't know, I need to like do some kind of brain exercises in terms of memory, because
Yeah.
sometimes I forget things. But with smell,
Mm,
like it's so strong.
yeah.
Well, so with bread and butter, you said you started more in like college, but were you like a toast for breakfast eater as a kid? Like I
Mm,
remember loving like I don't know if I did cinnamon sugar toast when I was really little, but like sprinkling a little sugar on my toast as a kid, or that like raisin cinnamon raisin toast. Like we had that a lot as a kid. And so I was like always a toast eater, but then like yeah, I think the same thing like around college age. I was like, this is a snack, because like you said, sometimes you don't want something super tasteful or like full of flavor, especially if you had like something really flavorful to eat before. Maybe you want something like more simple, but like
mhm.
still so good.
Yeah. So true.
Like, yeah.
I
And
mean,
cheap
oh
when
yeah,
you're in
cheap for sure.
college. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's the snack of our ancestors, you know? Like I feel like
I
bread and
mean,
butter has been
yes.
around for so
I
long. Like,
have
every
a few
culture has
articles that
bread
I
and
can get
butter.
into once we're yeah, what I have
Yes.
another well, I guess yeah, this is kind of leading into like, so do you also have toast? Did you have toast as a kid?
I as a kid was like really not a breakfast person. Like it took
Okay.
a very long time for me to become a breakfast person, and now there's like specific breakfasts I like, but I'm still not like about like a big like full spread breakfast
Mhm.
situation. Um, but I would prefer toast, like something simple in the morning. I think like eggs and like bacon and stuff like that in the morning. Like for some reason as a kid that like was not appetizing to me.
Mhm.
But we would do like, okay, this is very random, but one breakfast that I loved because it was like kind of like a lunch, but like my mom had it like when she was a kid, but it's like cube steak, which is like the cheapest cut of like ground beef thing cut into like a little
I
patty,
love
and we'd
that.
like cook it up and have toast on the side, and I lived for that breakfast because it was like also like borderline not breakfast.
Yeah, wait.
But
Why
toast was
I
the to-go
want
breakfast.
that.
I mean, it's like pretty random. It's just like a
Yeah.
little steak, not even like a chicken fried steak or anything like that. But all of my favorite breakfasts do involve bread. I'll say that.
Ugh,
It's big even now. Like
yeah.
avocado toast, like biscuits and gravy. We can count that as bread.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, what else? Oh, I love like a shakshuka type situation, but you're dipping bread into
Oh.
it.
Yes.
Eggs Benedict. That's got bread.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Just yeah.
I just freaking love bread. Wait, tell the snackers about the breakfast sandwich you were eating before we started recording.
It's like, okay, this is like borderline embarrassing because I ordered this sandwich like sometime over the summer. It's this very random restaurant in Brea called Carmel Cafe. It may be Carmel. I'm not sure based on the spelling, but anyway, it's very random. Our neighbor said it was good. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll get something. Get a breakfast sandwich. Just kind of like, that's what sounded good. I love a good breakfast sandwich. Now, not
Oh,
as a kid, but oh,
Teddy, maybe he needs to go outside. I'm so sorry to
don't
do
worry.
this.
I can roll right back into the breakfast.
Okay, perfect. Snackers will be right back. And snackers, we are back. I'm so sorry. You know, my sister's dog just needed to drink some water and go outside in the rain, apparently. Melissa, please take us back into this wonderful journey of this sandwich.
Right, so this breakfast sandwich, which I was looking for a breakfast sandwich to purchase, had heard good reviews about this restaurant, got the breakfast sandwich, and now I've ordered this breakfast sandwich almost every week, maybe every other, but mostly every week since the summer. I could go back on DoorDash history
Oh
and
my
check, but it's okay. There's the convenience factor because it does come in about 20 minutes from when I order
god.
it,
What?
so close
Okay.
to my house. Um,
That means it'll take that long for me because,
yeah,
like we mentioned
exactly.
earlier,
It's
like,
usually 20 to 30 minutes
oh
unless they're
my
busy, small
gosh.
business. They also, not important to the taste of the sandwich, but they typically write in very nice writing, thank you, and a little
Oh,
smiley face. They might be starting to like know me because it's always Melissa ordering breakfast. I
oh
just feel
my
like I have this relationship with them.
Oh, it's like a quarantine regular customer. Like you can't just like go in and they'll be like, "Melissa, we've got you covered." But like, it's
My
like,
dream. Oh, maybe one day I'll like befriend them IRL.
yes. Oh my God.
But the sandwich, it's very good. It's obviously there's bread involved, which is a
Hmm.
key component to every breakfast that I like. But the sandwich is no different. I typically get the wheat bread because I want to feel like I'm doing something a little healthier when I'm eating all of the rest of the
Yes.
things you'll hear about this sandwich. Of course, there's egg. It's
Mhm.
scrambled and it is so fluffy and like so much egg. have to imagine I'm getting like 3 eggs worth in this
Wow.
sandwich. It's just like a lot, and it like stays together neatly. I don't know how they do it. It kind of reminds me of like when you see people like rolling like the Japanese omelet, where it just for some reason it just like, stays
Yes.
together and it's super fluffy. That's
Wow.
what this is. Doesn't taste fake eggy. It's got
Hmm.
some thin and very crispy strips of bacon. I do not get it with sausage. I cannot like speak to the sausage, but you can choose that as an option. Also, I should note they have 5 different breads that you can choose. I always get
Wow.
but you can get white, sourdough,
Hmm.
wheat, squaw, and okay, I don't remember the fifth, but there is a fifth.
I think squaw is what they use at Outback.
I think that's what it is too. When I was kind of like, because I've contemplated getting the squaw
Hmm.
instead of the wheat, and when I look it up, it does look a lot like the Outback bread. So
Yum.
maybe someday.
So soft.
It's so good. Oh my god. Oh, you can also pick if you want the bread toasted or untoasted.
What do you usually do?
For the structure of the sandwich, I always pick toasted.
Yeah.
So that is helpful, especially since it's like coming to me delivery. Like I want to
Yeah.
like give it as much chance to stay together as
Give it a
possible.
fighting chance
Yeah,
against the moisture.
exactly. It has some sprouts in it, not a lot, a
Mmm.
few, enough to make you feel like I had something green. It does have tomato, which Michelle rightly
Mm.
pointed out is the acid in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then my favorite part, and the part that I'm not able to replicate.
The fart. Why am I 10 years old?
I almost started laughing. She was okay, the part I'm not able to replicate
Oh my
um,
gosh.
is the chipotle aioli. It's so
Mm-hmm.
good. I don't know what. Obviously, mayonnaise is the base. If you don't know, aioli and mayonnaise, same thing.
Hate to break it to you, mayo haters.
Yeah,
If you like aioli, yeah, that fancy shit they serve to you in a little thing on the side of your truffle fries, you like mayonnaise. Wake up, world. Wake
wake
up.
up to the truth.
Wake up, sheeple.
But it is quite a good aioli. I don't really know what the. I mean, obviously there's some chipotle seasoning in it. It's like pretty thin. It's like a little more saucy than like a
Mm.
thicker
Mm-hmm.
aioli situation. And yeah, that's the sandwich. And I've tried to like do a different version at home, and I can't. I don't know. I probably haven't tried hard enough because like why would I when I know that it's so easily available?
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
but
I
yeah, that's
mean, we were talking about this. So, snackers, full disclosure, we had this whole entire conversation and we were getting so into it. And I was like, why didn't we discuss this while we were recording?
that
But,
was
like, we were saying earlier that it's probably like the eggs are what, like, really set it apart because, like, a good egg can just elevate a breakfast sandwich, I think, so much.
it's so true.
And the
Yeah.
fact that you said there's so much of it.
Yeah, I mean, I showed you. It's like a thick
Yeah,
layer of egg in the sandwich. So
that's
yeah,
a
I don't
thick
really know how
boy.
they do it.
That's a
For
big
sure.
Gudetama. That's a callback to my Gudetama salted egg yolk chips episode if you haven't listened yet or watched it because it's also on YouTube. Snackers, what are you doing? But anyway, well, I really want to read you this article that I found
Yes, I would like to hear it.
because, well, so I found two, but the first one is more specifically the history of bread and butter. And it's on this like old looking WordPress blog from Jackie Fox 1976. Her blog is called Nothing Too Trivial. Subtitle says, Interesting Things for Interested People.
Oh.
And then she just has like a collage at the top of like different historical looking like illustrations. There's coins, there's Egyptian hieroglyphics, music notes. Like, it's just, you can tell that this is Jackie Fox is just going to write about what she wants to write about. And
she has
so,
no direction, but it's okay because you'll get some stuff.
yeah, this is just a fun place for fun facts. And so on December 11th, 2013, she decided to publish a blog post called Did Copernicus Invent Buttered Bread? And she does use a lot of like citations, so you know, I think this might be like a trusted source here, but I just thought it was just so cute that she wrote this little blog post. I haven't read it yet because I want to give my like full reaction, but I did read a reply that someone left in very 2014 style, and I can't wait to get to that at the end.
I'm so excited.
So here,
this is just such a very, like, this blog, it just seems like exactly like what someone would have decided they were going to do in 2013. Like, maybe it was a project, maybe it was just like a fun hobby with like, I could blog.
Well, 1976 makes it seem like maybe Jackie was born in that year, and so she was just like, you know what, I'm gonna take up this hobby and like write. Like, good for her, you know.
For her, good for Jackie.
Good for Jackie. So this is what she wrote. Oh no, I just scrolled too far. It's a story oft repeated as fact that Nicholas Copernicus, the early 16th century astronomer who first proposed that the planets revolve around the sun, invented the practice of buttering bread. Alas, it isn't true. The Oxford English Dictionary, she revealed that very fast into that.
No intrigue.
Second sentence, she tells us the answer to her question. Jackie, come on, you have to
take us on a journey.
Take us on a journey. Wait a little bit. She does write a lot more, so we'll keep going. Maybe she'll redeem herself. The Oxford English Dictionary contains a reference to buttered bread from 1496. So much further back in time than the 16th century. But it's still an entertaining tale. As described in Mould's Medical Anecdotes, the story is that in 1520, the Teutonic Knights, a military order that was at war with Poland, besieged the fortified town of Allenstein in Prussia. Copernicus was put in charge of organizing the defenses of the town and its castle, which eventually repelled the attack. Some 6 months before the siege was lifted, however, an outbreak of plague allegedly struck Allenstein Castle. As a youth, Copernicus had studied medicine. He noticed that the elderly men that had been left to guard the castle frequently dropped bread on the ground as they carried it up the steep steps from the kitchen. Suspecting this might have something to do with the spread of the disease, Copernicus divided the inhabitants into groups and allotted each a different diet. The group denied bread was the only one that remained plague-free, but refraining from eating bread during a siege wasn't practical. Someone suggested that if the black loaves were coated with a thin layer of churned cream, it would make it easy to detect when they'd been dropped. If they had, the dirt would be wiped off. Copernicus supposedly adopted the suggestion, and plague was eliminated at the castle.
Oh my gosh.
The idea of plague being transmitted via dirt isn't totally far-fetched. Medieval castles were notably infested with rats, and the bacterium that causes plague has been found to survive for up to 24 hours in soil. What? It seemed... Is that true for...
I know, like...
It seems far more likely, however, the plague was spread by fleas living on the rats, which is the most common way that plague is spread. Oh, okay, so the dirt probably thing isn't true, but it's probably the rat's like poop that was on the dirt that caused people to get sick from eating it with the bread.
Nation of
Yeah.
like no.
After Copernicus's death, the story continues. An official named Butenat leaked Copernicus's secret. The practice spread to other parts of Europe where it became known as butenatting or buttering.
Huh.
And if you believe that, I've got a grail to sell you.
Oh.
So she's basically saying like this whole thing isn't true.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
it's a funny story. And then the reply that someone left on September 4th, 2014, 12:41 p.m. Chad Calendar. No, I'm sorry, Megan Chad Calendar. Why is Megan not capitalized, but Chad and Calendar are?
That's weird.
Interesting. They said, such information, very wow, much impression. Remember when we used to type like that?
Oh, this is triggered a memory, and I didn't stop doing that soon enough, I think. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I think I could probably find myself doing that at any point. Like, not often, definitely not as often as like back then. But that's probably still slips out sometimes when I'm like really trying to be funny and can't think of any other way to be funny.
Wow.
I read that reply and I was like, oh, yeah, I have been transported.
Wow. What a time. You know, we have TikTok now, but then we just had this way of telling each other we were impressed with things, which was much wow.
Very yes. Like, if Gen Z finds out about that, we're never going to hear the end of it.
Terrible. I just saw something actually, I think during one of the dog things. I was like, scrolling Instagram as I do. And someone had posted this thing that was like, don't tell Gen Z we started our own Quidditch leagues.
Oh my god.
Extra embarrassing. I mean, I was never a part of one. However, I at one point was like, that seems cool.
Yeah, I at one point like really wanted to be a part of one. I was in or like helped start the club. Did we call it Dumbledore's Army?
Oh,
I think we called
I was
it.
in that.
Were you in that? Yeah. Did we call it that? Or did we call it something else?
I think it was Dumbledore's Army.
Okay. So did you go to the meetup that we did in the Target parking lot?
No, I absolutely did not.
Oh my god. I did. I was there. We attempted to play Quidditch in the Target in Brea.
Love that.
For the snackers that aren't aware and have never been to the city of Brea before, or specifically the Target, when the Target opened, it was a really big thing.
Huge.
It like changed Brea as a town.
Second
I think
only to Chick-fil-A. When that opened, that also changed people.
Yes. How could I forget? Anyway, when this Target opened, it was everything to us. And not only was it cool to have a Target, but we felt extra special because the first floor of our Target was the parking, or is still the parking garage. And then you have to go upstairs to go into the Target, which made us feel very special as little Breans.
And we had cart escalators. Which, okay, on a side note, have I told you my embarrassing cart escalator story?
No.
This was mid-pandemic. I was not used to being...
This is a Snacktime exclusive.
One of my most embarrassing moments.
Oh, no.
Packed Target. This is when toilet paper was running low. Like, people were scrambling.
Stressful.
So I had checked out. I had a full cart of things, and I wasn't paying attention. And I tried to put the cart down the people escalator.
No.
But that doesn't work because there's two poles to prevent
an idiot
God. Like myself from doing it.
Do you know what that means, though? That means you weren't the first.
That's true. So I walked force with my cart into the two poles, ricocheted backwards a little bit, and around hoping that no one saw me. But it
Oh
was very embarrassing.
no. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
What kind
but
of
you're
stuff
right.
did
You
you
know,
have in the
someone else has
cart?
done it. Hmm?
What kind of stuff did you have in the cart? Like, did it like flop out
Oh
everywhere?
no, thankfully
Okay,
no.
good.
Just just your standard Target run, which is everything under this. The skincare I didn't need, the clothes I didn't need,
Love it.
probably a pair of shoes I wasn't gonna wear due to the pandemic.
Oh
you
my
know,
god.
but yeah, it was super embarrassing. People
Oh.
saw.
No one laugh though, did they, or were people laughing?
No, I think people were worried. Like, is this okay?
They're
Because
like, she's now gonna go drive a car? Like,
truly, and not only like they have these poles, but they also have like a big sign on the ground in case you're not looking up if you're looking down. Like they have like a big red like circle, like
no.
no car, don't go here. It was rough. But anyway,
You
snack
know, it's
time.
the pandemic. Your mind was elsewhere.
It was very much elsewhere. But you played Quidditch in the Target parking lot.
Oh my god, yes. So, the Target parking lot, it's like an underground style parking lot. So it's inside, and so it has posts to hold up the second floor. And a lot of those posts are these big red circles.
Mm.
And they're just high up, like hollow circles. So just high up enough that you could like jump through them essentially or
Okay,
climb
that's
through
actually
them.
pretty clever.
So we were like, these are the Quidditch posts, like the
Yeah.
ball posts or whatever. I don't even think, I don't know what happened, but I don't remember actually playing.
Mm. Just running around,
I don't
jumping.
know if it just took so long that like by the time we got started I had to go, cuz this was in the time of high school where I was peak Michelle is doing too much. Like I was in a billion clubs, extracurriculars. Like why was I starting Dumbledore's army? I was like in choir, drama, ASB, Club India. Remember Disney Friends for Change Club? Were you in that? Did you help
No, I didn't get
re
to be on TV,
Oh my god. So, well, was I on TV? No.
but you had the opportunity.
I was right next to the people that got on TV, but they just didn't pan over to me.
What's funny is I can't remember if it was. Well, I mean, you should obviously tell the story of why the TV crew was there,
Yeah,
but
sure.
I can't remember if it was before or after, but our church had essentially done the same job. So either we were
Oh.
changing what Disney Friends for Change did and like replace the plants that were dying, or it was vice versa. I can't remember which way it was. Like you guys
Well,
were fixing what we did, or we fixed what you did. I don't
I
remember.
think you ended up fixing what we did because we did it like right out. So, snackers, if you aren't aware of this story, what year was that? 2008? 2009? Was that
I
our
think we were
freshman year or
sophomores.
sophomore
I
year?
want to say
Okay,
we
then
were
probably 2009.
because I was driving at this point.
Okay. Anyway, there was a huge fire in our area where we live, and it affected our school, and like all of the vegetation at our high school burnt down. So I was in this club, and we were inspired by like Disney Channel's Friends for Change because we just like thought it was cool that like kids could make a difference in their community, which is cool, like, but I don't know why we had to make it Disney. But anyway, we decided that we want to replant the hill that had burnt to a crisp with like, native plants and stuff. And then Disney, I don't remember how, but Disney found out, obviously, because we were using their name. So honestly, I might have started as like a cease and desist and we like milked it. And then they
Well, I
gave
feel like there
us
was like an apply to have your school featured. I feel like you had
maybe,
some go-getters that were like, we're gonna
yeah.
apply.
I honestly was probably part of the, like, if we did that, because I think I was like secretary or something.
You were like involved in politics, more just
Oh,
periphery.
yeah. I just couldn't do anything low key. Anyway, they end up like giving us the money and means to replant the entire like big side of the hill as you're like driving up to the high school, which was really cool. And they ended up like bringing some like Disney Channel actress to come like help us with quotes around
For the
it.
photo op.
Yeah, for the photo op. And then there was like a commercial on Disney Channel with like our story in it. But I mean, that hill, like, I don't think it ever will get enough water. Like, it's just so dry that, like, things die. So I'm sure, like, all those plants, probably not. I mean, we tried to use native plants, so you'd think that
Yeah.
they would be okay. But yeah, I
That's
wouldn't be
kinda why I
surprised
feel
if
like
that was what your church had to do. Like,
I don't
fix.
know. I kind of feel like it very well could have been the other way because I don't know if we used like
So you
the
guys did that
flower.
and then it burnt down?
No. It was like
Oh.
one of the like fixing the fire burned area, but I
Or
just
was it the
remember
whole
planting like
hill?
little flowers. I wasn't on the hill team. I was on the plant flowers in front of the wildcat team.
Okay,
So
we
that's
didn't do
me.
that at
But then there
all.
was a hill team, so I can't remember if they were
Hmm.
doing native plants or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or, I mean, I don't remember if we even did the whole hill or not.
Oh, it could have been a
We
portion we did.
we very well might have just done the part that Disney needed and shot, like of
Totally.
the camera.
But it's so wild because I mean, meanwhile, that hill, like, I mean, the other side that nobody planted on, like, I mean, natural cycles. It had like
Yeah.
wildflowers the next year because that's just how it works. But
Hmm.
it did. I think it still even has some of those trees that look like they were on the moon or something. Like,
They looked like
really
Tim Burton trees. Like,
scary.
they got all like spindly and swirly. How did we even get here?
Clubs, Quidditch,
Target?
Target. Also, side note on those Target circles, I 100% had a photo shoot in one of those.
Yes, I probably did too. Remember when we like it was between like just a few friends that had like digital cameras, and we
Oh,
would just like always have so many pictures on Facebook. Like if Gen Z found out how many pictures we used to post, they would
one.
be shocked.
Oh my gosh. And then we had like the early filters. So I remember like on the camera, like you
Yes.
could set like a sepia tone and
Uh-huh.
take pictures, or like the one that I was a fan of, which these are still
I
to this
know.
day on my page.
Yes.
You know what I'm gonna say? You
Uh-huh.
like
Uh-huh.
take out all the color except
Yep.
one color, or you change things so that they're a different color.
They're
We thought it was so cool.
it is still so cool. Like think about that as technology. That
Like
was
I didn't
filters
even have to
before
Photoshop it.
filters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so crazy.
We have seen so much transformation in technology and like specifically technology for like photos.
Mhm. It's
Wow.
crazy.
We really are millennials. Like
We are very neatly in the millennial generation.
like hundreds of photos would be posted at one time from
Oh,
a one day like trip to Disneyland.
I even did that in college. I was just looking through because I was trying to find something specific in my Facebook photos. I don't remember what it was. But I was like, oh man, I still have all these albums on here. And I literally have albums that are titled like that time we went to San Diego. And it's like one day in San Diego in college, just one day. It's like
Oh my
millions
god.
of pictures.
Million.
I have that like I have one that's like literally that time we celebrated blah blah blah's birthday, and it was like one evening, and I still have like 25 pictures minimum.
I mean, it is a lot to post it, but I love like having a lot of pictures to look back on.
Yeah, same.
It's so fun. Like even just the pictures on my phone or even just on Instagram, like just what I've posted. I love to be like, wow, like look how much has changed or like, oh, that memory with those people and yeah.
I need to
And
just like save my Facebook photos, like make sure I have them all on my computer because like who knows what's gonna happen to Facebook? Nothing is guaranteed.
yeah.
So I
Hmm.
just
I
want to
know.
hold
Everything
them in
that's
case
stored
something happens.
digitally, it's like you have to make sure it's in like multiple places because like
Well, and I'm tagged in photos, and I think slowly people are like doing the same thing I'm doing. Like, oh, do I need to take that album down? But I'm like,
mhm.
I need to save like photos I'm tagged in before people realize
Oh
they.
my god, I didn't even
Like
think
that's a
about
lot of my
that.
high school experience is like
Me
tagged on
too.
Facebook
Oh
because
my
I was not the
god.
primary camera person, even though
Yeah,
I did have
same.
a camera, as we know.
I was not the primary camera person either. Oh my god, my sister's dog is like rolling around right now. He's like chewing on a like bully stick thing, but he's just like so enjoying it. He's like, wee. Well, I did have another blog post, but it's the history of toast, which honestly, like, maybe I'll do another episode specifically on toast to read that, because that's not what your snack is. Your snack is bread and butter.
Bread and butter.
So with that,
bread and butter.
Do you have anything else to say about bread and butter before we go here today?
I don't think so. I was thinking before jumping on, though, that it is funny that my snacks went from like elote chips packed with flavor, and then we got a little more basic on the fries, and then just bread and butter.
I love it.
The most basic, like, form of a snack.
I think it just really shows your versatility as a snacker. I mean, it's been salty the entire time, which I think is fun, but such a variety in types of flavors, the like where they came from, you know, it's just
yeah,
love it. Well, thank you so much for coming back and sharing bread and butter. Next time, I guess you're just gonna have to do like a cube of salt.
Just water.
To go simple. Okay, actually, Ben has requested he wants to do sparkling water.
Oh, I will listen to that.
I was like, so okay, he's gonna need to, but plain.
Oh yeah, I have Soda Stream. I just do plain.
I was like, Ben, you're gonna have to like convince me to somehow like it, because I can't do plain spark. Well, you know, we'll save the convo for Ben.
All I gotta say is he has my full endorsement.
I'm glad people will be interested.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's kind of got you. He's oh my god, dang it, totally. What is that phrase? Now it slipped out of my mind. He's giving you a run for your money, is what I was gonna say.
He is getting more basic than me.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to figure out how to get more basic than sparkling water, I guess. Or you go in the completely opposite direction and do like
flavor packed something.
Or like crazy supreme nachos, or like something like like with a billion ingredients in it. You know what I mean?
I gotta say, I didn't talk about this on the fry episode. You don't have to keep this in if it's like irrelevant. But
oh no, I want to hear it.
I forgot to mention, have you tried the chowder fries from Slapfish?
No.
Do you like clam chowder?
Yes.
Okay, so Slapfish, this fish restaurant nearby, they just do like some seasoned fries. They're not like overly seasoned, but they're not just like plain salty fries. And then they put literally like a cup of clam chowder over them and some crispy bacon and like I think chives.
No.
And they're really good.
I need
it's like poutine, like same concept as poutine,
yeah,
but clam chowder, which I love poutine as well. But
genius. Wow. Okay, I need it.
So anyway, forgot to mention
what
that.
A great way to end this episode with with another snack suggestion.
Yes, absolutely.
So
also available via DoorDash, my favorite thing.
Oh, good to know. Okay, well, snackers, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. And if you're craving some bread and butter now, or clam chowder fries, like how I'm craving it right now, I hope you get to eat them, or just eat something else yummy today. Melissa, thank you so much again for being on again.
Of course.
Always a pleasure. You're back. You're back. You're welcome back anytime.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Well, until next time. I never say this. What am I trying to do? I don't have an ending saying. I'll just see you next time at Snack Time. Bye.
Bye.
I literally was like, as I was saying it, I was like,